Hello everyone, this is Mr. Q's channel. This is Mr. Q. In the last video, we talked about the basic principles of categorizing player types. To summarize, it's all about player count and profitability, weighted and categorized. After that, we split the players into two main categories, casual players and regular players, and it continues to be broken down into four subcategories. The player with the worst profit is named whale. The worse the profit situation means the more their playing style deviates from GTO. Most whale players' understanding of deuces, probably based on rules and cards only, mainly for fun. So we're the upper link in the food chain. We can't let go of this most tantalizing piece of meat. This video, we'll talk specifically about what are the technical characteristics of the worst profitable whale players, and how do we target them for exploitation. First, let's look at the pre-flop situation. Compare this with the total player pool. The green graph represents a pre-flop raise. The blue chart represents a pre-flop call. We can clearly see that whales' pre-flop raise range, not too far off from the player pool average, but their pre-flop calling range is extremely wide, especially the same color part. Our response is also very simple. The whales are entering the pool at a higher rate, but the pre-flop raise rate isn't as high. So let's honor the whales' pre-flop raise, less 3-bet bluffs. Next, make a full value bet. Because of their very wide calling range, the frequency with which they hit the deck is also determined to be very high. So when we have a hand like top pair, top kicker, we can take a very large number of the value of the top pair of weak kickers. Also on the board of the flush draw, we're going to squeeze the value out of their draws. And then, let's take a look at the post-flop whale singling up the bottom of the pot. That's single raise pot, defensive range against c-bet. Numerically, the frequency seems to be the same as the player pool or sharks. There's no particularly noticeable difference. But don't forget, the three player types have different starting ranges. Behind the similar numbers, the actual ranges represented can vary wildly. Proportionally, we find the gut shot straight draw and draw hand ratio is 24%, and the sharks are only 17%. This also confirms our observations from before the flop. That's a lot of draws. And how does the betting scale affect their defense range? First, we find ourselves facing a small bet of under 1 per 3. Whale will defend very many unformed hands, a whopping 44%. And the player pool is only 33% here. The sharks are only 37%. So we can use the range advantage. Playing a small bet with a small hand, take some thin value, or on a given hand, we can use a full range betting strategy. Next, facing a big bet. Whale's defensive range has a 29% drawing ratio, and the shark is at 24%. The player pool is only 19%. It's worth noting that whale in calling range on the turn, the percentage of callers is also the highest of all player types. Got it. It'll be easy to target them. Formed hands are weak. Small bets squeeze value out of whales. Unformed hands. Formed hand is stronger, betting heavy to squeeze value out of the whale's drawing hand. And when the flop is a wet board, and when the river brings the flush or the straight comes, we need to reduce the frequency of our bluffing catches. Read the defense section. Let's take a look at the whale's offense. The following table shows the c-bet for single raise pot whales. Here, I've summarized two of the more obvious holes in the whale. The first is in the whale's large-scale bets. Top pair, weak kicker, and center pair are overrepresented. For this, we don't really need to be actively tweaking. Defending top pair and center pair that should be defended, and automatically in profit. Another loophole is, with the whale betting scale of half a pool. Here the whale's betting range is very weak. The middle pair and below is 64% of the power of the hand, and the player pool and sharks are both at 58%. So we need to relax the range. A half pool bet from the defense whale. So what's the range defense? Use combos that can counter your opponent. For example, 2 high cards, or a high card with a backdoor flush and a backdoor straight. Okay, that's it. These are the more typical technical characteristics of a whale player. Thanks for watching. I am Mr. Q. Let's meet next time.